So do you think everybody should be going to therapy?
So in my family, like growing up, we didn't talk about mental health.
You ran for Miss Kansas for how many years? How do you handle with always having to be on?
Social media is a double-edged sword.
After the 5th time of you not making Miss Kansas, what made you keep going another 2 or 3 more times?
Well, I wanted to say yes to every opportunity, but I realized that didn't serve me. I'm very much an introvert.
Why don't we switch it and then say, I just want to be living a blessed life. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Y'all gonna love this episode. My next guest is somebody who I have a high amount of respect for. She's done some amazing things in the community, and she has a big announcement that she has coming up, and this is gonna be such a fun episode. Everybody welcome Miss Annika Wooton.
Hello.
Annika, what's up, girl? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good to see you. What do you think? Face to Face, how you feeling?
It's amazing.
Yeah?
It is good to be back at River Vista.
That's right. People don't know this, but you used to live here for 2 years, right?
Just 1 year.
1 year, okay.
Yeah. So the second year that I reigned as Miss Kansas,
Yeah.
I moved into River Vista and just absolutely loved it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's just go right into it. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So Miss Kansas back-to-back years. Mm-hmm. And that sounds glorious. And that's the first time that anybody's ever done that. But we got to talk about the story behind that. Mm-hmm. You ran for Miss Kansas for how many years?
7 years in a row. So I won on my very last year eligible.
Okay. So talk about the whole process. You're eligible starting when?
18 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the math here. When's the last year you can be eligible? How old?
It's changed in the last couple of years,
Okay.
but I won when I was 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you literally did it from 17, 18, 19, 20.
And so you have to compete in a local competition and earn your spot there in order to qualify for state. So
what
even
local
though
city did you compete in?
literally all of them, but when I won, I was Miss Wichita. So I was Miss Hay Capital, Miss Butler County, Miss Leavenworth, Wooded Hills, Kingman, Greater Wichita. So
Oh my gosh.
literally was already representing Kansas in so many ways. But, there's 7 state competitions, but there's local competitions before you even get there.
Yeah. After the 5th time of you not making Miss Kansas, what made you keep going another 2 or 3 more times?
Oh, maybe FOMO.
I feel that. Yeah.
But, I've thought about this a lot, especially as I'm stepping back into the competition sphere, is why do not just myself, but people who compete in pageants and arenas like this keep getting up after that perceived loss again and again. And it's because the ultimate goal, it's the title, but the growth and the experience happens, 364 days that aren't winning the title.
Yeah.
So,
was there a little stubbornness there of like, I'm going to win this thing? Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am very headstrong, Aries, ginger, all of it.
Oh, come on. I love that.
But, once I set my mind to something, I'm going to keep working toward it.
Yeah.
And with that age parameter, this is the only time in my life I can chase after that goal.
Has anybody else ran 7 times?
I don't know if anyone has in Kansas. There's been girls across the country who have very similar stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's just that grit and perseverance that comes with this industry.
Where'd you get that from? Family member?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
My mom's an artist. She's a graphic designer, and my dad's a businessman.
Okay.
And so both of their stories, and my mom's an Army brat too.
Yeah.
Both of their stories showed me how to work hard toward a goal and to push through past obstacles.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so you finally win after 7 years, and you do something that has never been done before. You win. You serve as Miss Kansas back-to-back years. How'd that feel?
Well,
here we go.
I mean, I did it that nobody's ever done before, but it was because we were in a worldwide pandemic, right? So Miss Kansas is a public-facing job. The position is going into communities every single day. So I distinctly remember and actually came across the screenshot recently of cancellation after cancellation coming through on my email of my entire world. I mean, we all stopped, but there was working from home. Well, Miss Kansas, you can't really work from home traditionally. So not only was it
what'd you do?
serving
Virtual?
the time, it was reinventing what it looked like to be Miss Kansas and connecting with people online, doing online appearances for the first time ever. And what I ended up doing was a little art corner. So you may have remembered on Facebook and Instagram 2 times a week during the
You
lockdown.
did lives, right?
Yeah, I painted with people from my apartment.
Okay, yeah.
And that was my way of connecting and kind of spreading my own little therapy.
Yeah, and that's right. I feel like every Miss America
Title holder.
Thank you. All right, all has some sort of skill set, right? Whether it's singing, dancing. Yours was painting, right? And you also have an amazing skill set, not only painting, but like you can speed paint.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like, talk about what you did to like win that final like Miss Kansas. You gotta talk about that.
Yeah. Well, to win Miss Kansas, I sang.
You sang, okay. Oh, you sang too.
I do.
What does she not
But
do?
once I got to the Miss America stage, I knew I wanted to paint. And you only have 90 seconds to do whatever you're going to do in the talent competition. So I painted upside down a portrait of Ruth Bader Ginsburg in 90 seconds. And yeah, that's definitely on my high list of accomplishments.
Okay, I got that. Speaking of accomplishments, you said, I'm not done being in this pageant world. Talk about what the most recent announcement that you made.
Yeah, so I'm putting my hat back in the ring.
Come on.
Again, this is my only year eligible. So because my journey with the Miss America organization was extended by an extra year with the pandemic, I only have 1 year eligible to compete in Miss USA.
Whoa. Okay, so the announcement is you are competing.
I am competing for Miss Kansas USA.
For Miss Kansas USA. Okay, and people
countdown is on.
There we go. And people probably don't know the difference. So there's Miss Kansas America, and then there's Miss Kansas USA. So Miss America, Miss USA. Talk a little bit about the difference.
Yeah, Miss America is the original pageant. So 1921 started on Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And actually just celebrated their 100th anniversary. Now, along the way, there are tons of other pageant systems that have come up to empower women and give women a platform. Miss USA is definitely the other big player.
Okay.
So Miss USA goes on to Miss Universe. And so when you're in the pageant system, like the crowns look different, the branding is different, the competition sphere looks a little bit different. But ultimately,
what's cooler to say? Like, would you rather be Miss Kansas USA or Miss Kansas America?
I don't think I'm allowed to answer that question.
Okay, all right, we will not answer everybody. Here we go.
It really depends on like your brand and who you are as a person. And I feel very fortunate to kind of have a foot in both worlds.
Okay. So which one did you just do? Like for the whole 2 years?
Miss America.
That was Miss America. And now you're doing Miss USA, which could be Miss Universe. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Do you like your chances? What are your thoughts?
I think I got good chances.
Come on. Okay. When does everybody find out? Like how does the whole process work?
So
we're in March now.
Yeah, we're in March now. Countdown to May 7th and 8th is the state competition.
Okay. So is it like what is it? Is it campaigning? Is it like how does this whole thing work? I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of preparation to get to that stage, which involves fitness training, pulling together my branding, telling my story, working on my interview training, and coming up with my game plan. So should I win, I can kick off the year and make an impact with the year that I have.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like the prep for being Miss Kansas USA is a whole like full-time job in itself.
Oh, sure.
But you are also in a full-time job besides this prep. Talk about that. Lead for Kansas, right? Director of Operations.
Yes.
Okay. Talk a little about that role.
So Lead for Kansas is an affiliate of Lead for America, which is actually based in Dodge City, which is pretty cool.
Word. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We're a pretty young organization. Lead for America started about 6 years ago, and we have become one of the leading national service organizations in the country. So we place fellows in fellowships in their hometowns. For us, it's Kansas, to work on critical challenges that help those communities.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
And you just started that, like almost a year ago or so?
Yeah, coming up on a year. And Director of Operations really kind of holds all things. So I get to work hand in hand with our fellows and talk to them directly about their impact, as well as support the operations and the marketing of our organization.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but it is
How are you
very
balancing
empowering.
It, honestly? Are you sleeping?
I am sleeping.
Okay.
Actually, like right now is typically my bedtime.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to bed soon. Right. She basically said stop the interview.
No.
Okay, so
But
you're sleeping. That's good.
I am sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely a healthy balance.
Good.
And what I think I'm most thankful for is my colleagues and my director also understand that healthy balance. Like we are all go-getters and have a lot of elements of our life. Yeah. And so to be able to have the flexibility of the work that we have to fulfill our own passions and also make sure we're taking time to rest and knowing each other well enough to tell each other to rest. Because there's been several times for both of us that we've been like, you need to take a day off.
Wow, that's a good culture though.
You need to recoup.
Yeah,
and
some accountability right there. I love that.
It's been really helpful.
This might be an interesting question, but if you, or let's say when, let's speak into existence.
Yes.
When you win Miss Kansas USA, will you be able to still keep your role?
I will. And so that's one of the differences with these two state organizations. When I was Miss Kansas in the Miss America organization, I was expected for that to be my full-time gig.
Yeah, you couldn't work and do any, you couldn't even make an income.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was, its own situation. But with Miss Kansas USA, there is more flexibility and most women do keep a full-time job.
That's nice.
So I'm fortunate to be able to keep on my role with Lead for Kansas and Lead for America.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so Annika, you are a really big advocate for mental health. And I am too. I feel like everybody should, whether it's go to therapy or just talk to somebody when they're going through things. What made you so passionate about mental health? Was it a personal story or a family thing? Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in my family, like growing up, we didn't talk about mental health. And it's only really become a conversation recently. And I look back to my years in high school and how I coped with art. And my senior project actually was a poetry book combined with my illustrations that was called I've Killed Myself 1,000 Times Without Leaving the Pages of My Sketchbook. And that came from looking back in my sketchbooks and seeing the things that I was drawing from my subconscious and in the corners of my notes and knowing like someone should have said something, like someone should have known, but I didn't know that I was allowed to talk to anybody. And I thought that I was the first person in my family to have a sick brain. And so I just went through coping how I knew how, which I'm so thankful that I had the arts as a tool.
And so you never harmed yourself, but you were just thinking these thoughts. High school, you said?
High school, yeah. There's this little character that I would draw over and over again, getting killed or harmed in so many different ways. Wow. And like, yeah, I look back at those things and it's a shell of who I am now, right? Because of the joy that I found and the purpose I found in life. But if I hadn't had art, I don't know where I would be. Wow. So it was only just a couple of years ago that I finally got into therapy and found, the support and the gift that is. And so by finding that for myself and knowing how much it impacted my life, then I'm using my platform to speak about that and hopefully help others get over pretty simple barriers to find their own journey in therapy.
This is about to be a great point in the conversation because, as we know, there was somebody who did what you did, Miss USA or Miss America, Chesley, right? Was that her name?
Chesley.
Chesley, yeah. And did you know her by chance, or did you?
I never knew her personally.
Okay.
And it's something that a lot of people, the entire pageant community was rocked by her suicide. Yeah. And it was something that was talked about was that even though so many of us didn't know her light that she shone through social media and the legacy that she left made you feel as if you did.
Yeah. And I mean, that story rocked me. And I'm not even in that world, but I do know a little bit about being in the public eye and making it kind of seem like we have everything going. I feel like with your career path of being, in pageants and being in a public figure sense, you have to make it seem like you got things going, right? Your partnerships, right? Announcements, pageant things. Same with myself, right? Another thing, announcement or big interview, whatever it may be. That's our job to kind of make it seem like it's looking good, but you never know what we have going on the back end. So I guess it's a multi-level question, but how do you make sure that you can kind of perceive that you're doing well, but also balance it? And do you think that, I don't know, that this social media world we're in it's a good world? Can it be used for good and evil? Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, social media is a double-edged sword. I actually just saw somebody's story today, and they were talking about crafting your feed. I mean, your social media is what you craft it to be. You are following the people that pour into the energy that you're walking through every day. So if you're putting your feed with people that build you up or inspire you or provide you the reality that you want to live in, then it's great, right? But then also understanding that, yes, there's a filter on everything, whether that's the message, the photo, the reality that we're putting out there. It's what we choose to show, which I think is a very powerful thing, is to be able to choose what aspects of my life people have access to. That being said, it kind of innately became part of my brand to share my therapy journey. Yeah. It just so happened that I was going to therapy on Thursdays, and I would post a snapshot of my feet in the therapist's office and put Therapy Thursday.
I love it. You made it a thing.
Yeah. But I didn't even know that I was doing that. And all of a sudden, like one week I didn't go, and somebody messaged me and was like, hey, did you go to therapy today? And I was like, what? Like,
wow.
You noticed, right?
So do you think everybody should be going to therapy?
I think everybody should have the opportunity to go to therapy.
That's a good answer. Why do you say that?
Well, therapy isn't necessarily for everybody. We all process our trauma and our experiences in different ways. And there are many different varieties of therapy, which I don't know if everybody knows. There's different approaches and methods that therapists use that fit better with different kinds of personalities. But that being said, not everyone is ready to sit in an office with somebody they don't know and open up their darkest secrets.
So true. Wow. Okay, that was really, really good. Let's segue now into, we talked about the mental health, but how has that played a role in your relationship? You've been in a relationship with Jesse for how many years?
A year and a half.
A year and a half,
now,
okay.
Yeah.
And the rumor is that ring is coming soon.
Oh, what? Don't tell him that.
Don't tell him that. Oh, and Jesse is a successful entrepreneur, right? I mean, he's opened up. I mean, he's in charge of a big marketing type situation, right? Is it Herbalife?
Yep, he's with Herbalife, and he owns Wichita Nutrition and a couple other shops around town.
Yeah, he's killing it. So, and obviously you are very busy. Me and my girlfriend as well have been dating for 2.5 years. She owns a business. I'm kind of doing my own business here too. It can get busy to the point where sometimes we don't even see each other for a couple days, or communication kind of just like quickly, hey, I love you, and sometimes it's not as intentional. What advice would you give to somebody that that the couples, they're both busy, and how to kind of manage the communication, quality time? And do you guys spend quite a bit of quality time? How do you guys manage all that?
Yeah, it is tough. I'll tell you that. And we met when I was Miss Kansas. And of course, he owns his own business and contributes to the mentorship of a whole community. And we, like you said, communication is key. And we have times of the week that are carved out for us, but also understanding what our schedules are like from time to time. I know his Tuesday nights are off limits.
Okay.
Like that is team calls all the way through the night.
That's
we
good
have
to
a
know.
late dinner.
Yeah.
We're good to go. Right. But we are fortunate to have flexibility in our schedule. So it's not, it's not your traditional times that you spend together, but the time that we do have is very valuable. Yeah.
Is he involved in any type of therapy? Do you like preach mental health to him as well? Do you guys do therapy together?
We don't do therapy together. At the time.
Yeah.
And he's gone to therapy in the past, but we talk a lot about our mental health journeys and share that with each other. And he's always been very receptive for giving me space when I come out of a tough session. Like he's really good at reading me, first of all.
He knows.
Almost every time
Annika
I come out of a session,
I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go.
Every time I come out of the office, I'll call him and just let him know that I'm done. He's like, "How'd it go?" And I say good almost every time, but he knows with how I say if I need to have a little bit of space or more of a calm evening.
Okay, I have a question then. For somebody that's always in the public eye, how do you stay on? Right, I feel like myself, I always like I said in my earlier podcast episode that whenever I go to the gym or whenever I go to church or whatever, I really just can't kind of stay ducked off in a corner. Like, it's not like I'm thankful to be in this position, but any coffee shop and like somebody probably recognizes me. That's definitely the same for you. That puts me in a situation of kind of always having to be on, even if I'm in a bad mood, even if I had a tough business call, I still got to be like, good to see you. How are you? Hit the microphone, by the way, if you listen on Spotify podcast. Good to see you. How are you? And sometimes I don't really want to do that. That even just happened today.
Yeah.
And I'm struggle sometimes with balancing how to be on and being able to kind of be reserved. How do you handle with always having to be on?
So the ingenious quote, "You can't pour from an empty cup." And understanding my energy levels. I am admittedly an introvert, which is surprising to most people.
Are you really?
I am very much an introvert.
Okay.
So for me, like my drive time is my recoup time. And I've put that energy, battery in my car literally to be when I need to scream to music, when I listen to an inspirational podcast, when I sit in silence. That's like my incubator.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to know.
Yeah.
And it is preparing for instance, this weekend I'm in 3 different states with 4 different events. I'm exhausted today, but knowing that that's coming helps me mentally prepare and take the time beforehand to like recharge myself before I get there.
Oh, okay. So then do you ever have any issues with saying no? So you're not a people pleaser. Like I'm a people pleaser, and I have a tough time saying no sometimes. Do you have any struggles with saying no?
I used to, and I think it was, again, like that FOMO. Like I wanted to say yes to every opportunity, but I realized that didn't serve me because when I was overextended, I wasn't showing up as my best self. So being able to choose the opportunities and say yes to the things that really mattered to me, and make things work when it was necessary, but also understanding when I could set those boundaries to keep time for myself.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a great answer. All right. We have
Learned
about
in
a couple
therapy.
minutes left. There we go. There we go. We have a couple minutes left. Let's fast forward 10 years from now.
Okay.
Right. You are in your mid 30s, hopefully married, kids. Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, actually at the time, don't see myself with kids.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
also probably surprising to a lot of people.
Huh. Can we touch on
But-
that if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, everything about children and birth terrifies me at the present moment. The more I learn, the more scared I am.
Wow. Okay. What were we thinking? Adopt maybe?
I've thought about fostering or adoption,
Fostering,
but I am very empowered by young women who are leading their lives without children and still having fulfillment without that aspect of the family.
Wow. That's really cool. I love that. So, okay, maybe not having kids, but, you know, hopefully married, right? Where else do you see yourself? What about career-wise? Will you still be in the pageant world, maybe consulting?
Yeah, so I do pageant coaching now. So
Okay.
I have a business with one of my good friends, Juven Nava. It's called Crown the Nation. And so we have clients across the country. We're doing pageant consulting and training in really all areas.
Wow.
But I love my little speed painting proteges.
Okay, there we go.
But when I look 10 years ahead, and actually this was just in a blog that I put out, it's really difficult for me to say I want this job with this kind of organization because I have so many different interests. So when I look,
And you're good at a lot of them too. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I look 10 years down the road, it's more, what do I want my life to look like? So do I want to be in a big city, or do I want to be in a small town where everybody knows my name, or somewhere in between? And so when I think of my future, I want to be somewhere that I'm able to be creative. I want flexibility with my time and with my finances. I want to be married and have
love
some
that.
aspect of a family. But more so, I want to be in a community facing role that I can mentor others and continue to grow in myself.
Yeah. That answer is so special because how many people do we know that says, I want to be the CEO of a really big bank, or I want to be, you know, at that level, being able to interview The Rock and Kevin Hart. Why don't we switch it and then say, I just want to be living a blessed life. I want to be healthy. I still want to be connected to my family.
Yeah.
Right. So that answer really inspires me. And I try to answer questions like that as well. So Annika Wooton, my goodness, what did you think about this?
This is great.
You enjoyed it?
I did.
Okay, cool. I'm blessed by our friendship, and I hope you feel the same way. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Everybody, face to face. Let's go.